Daddy, 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 eat. Daddy, Daddy, eat. Daddy, Daddy, eat. Daddy, 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 see you. Daddy, Daddy.
Sam to open the word of prayer, and I'm going to be co-hosting with Mr. Sam. Please go ahead, Mr. Sam.
Unmute.
Please unmute yourself, Mr. Sam. We can't hear you.
Sam.
You can unmute yourself, Mr. Sam. We can't hear you.
Sanya.
Okay. Hello. Thank you very much, Brandy. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm very excited to be on this fellowship today. Family of friends, community in Tanzania, and of course, we have some friends from abroad. I just want to welcome you to this fellowship. Feel at home, feel free. Yeah, we miss your presence, physical presence, but thank God for technology that has brought all of us together, that we can see each other, we can see where you are. I'm just very excited to welcome you all. Stage 3, stage 2, Cornerstone, CLA teaching staff, CLA students, Uncle team, and all friends. Feel at home, feel at Jesus. Just very excited. I'm very excited to see all of you here. And so this fellowship is meant to bring us together as family of friends. As you know that this year, we were supposed to have Uncle Tim coming down here, but Corona brought in issues. Now we can meet on Zoom call. Yeah, so we thank God that we are able to have this fellowship today, and we just thought that it's good for us to hear from our mentor, our uncle. He's a father to us. He's an uncle to many of us. He's a mentor to many of us. He's a friend. You know, Uncle Tim has so many titles to us. And we feel like it's high time we listen from people who can inspire us, people who can give us hope, keep moving on, despite all these challenges that are going around the world. As you are aware that apart from Corona, we have our friends in the US who are going through strikes. You know, we have people who are dying of hunger. We have people who are sick. We have people that we are burying. Amidst all these challenges, there is one voice that says, stay calm and know the Lord. I just want to say that we love you so much, and we just want to fellowship together. And so I just want to request all of us to mute our microphones. Time will come where we will unmute you, but I just want to ask you to mute your microphone right now, because we want to give it over to Uncle Tim to share with us. But before we welcome Uncle Tim, I just want to welcome Brother Julius, if you are hearing me, to just say hi to your fans. And then we will go ahead and welcome Uncle Tim. Brother Julius, are you hearing me? Hello, Julius, are you there? Okay.
Hello, I can now hear.
Maybe. Okay,
Hello.
You're welcome, Brother Julius. Please say hi to your fans.
Yeah, it's good to see all of us here. It's such a bunch of joy for me and my wife to see all of us here. Some people have taken a long time without seeing people from outside Africa. Welcome home. It's such a joy to see a bunch of joy here. I feel like Mr. Ezekiel, who's first time, I guess, to be with us. I'm so happy to see people from Dar gathered together. It's so happy to see people like Felista, Mwandosia, people like all of us here. It's such a, it feels us such nice memories that life is worth celebrating, and it's such a joy for me to see each of us here. I'm happy. May God bless us, and as we look forward to hearing from Uncle Tim. Uncle Tim, I'm really Uncle Tim, such a bunch of joy to see the fruits of your work and greeting you, and happy that God has kept you safe and still ask you to keep yourself safe. And look forward to chatting and looking forward that this gathering keep on coming so that life keeps moving on. Thank you very much. Alice, Madam has one word to say.
No, he has said it all. So I'd rather have it over to the host on with the program. But good to see everyone on. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Something you go in you switch off the video, you make it and not second. Please unmute yourself, Mr. Sam.
Okay, thank you very much. There was a technical error here. Technology. Anyway, so this is wonderful, and we just want to not to waste time, but I want us to put our hands together and welcome Uncle Tim. Yeah, can we put our hands together, please?
Okay.
Yeah, let's welcome Uncle Tim to share with us.
Thank you, Sam. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, it's good to be with all of you today. I'm seeing people from all over the place, and many faces I have been missing. I haven't seen you for a long time. And so it's just a joy for me to speak to you this afternoon. Yeah, just try and keep your mics on mute, otherwise the sound gets affected by too many mics being on. So we're just settling here. Let me just say a prayer as we are beginning. Let's pray. Lord, we just thank you for this opportunity to be together today as a family of friends. Thank you, Lord, that you kept us through all the ups and downs since we last met, and just pray that today we would be encouraged to hear from you and to be strong as we are going through this difficult time. So we just pray this in your name, amen. So are you all good? Nice to see you. And I'm just gonna go straight into the sharing. I'm going to try and do a PowerPoint here. So if you can see this on the screen, the topic today is managing the slide, and I put my email there. If you'd like to get this presentation at the end of talk, you can send me an email. The best way is for you to send me an email. But we have been through some kind of a storm, and I think we are still going through it as this time the whole world. It's not just one place, it's a storm that is covering the whole world. And many people are describing it that we are in uncharted territory. Uncharted territory meaning we haven't really been in such a situation as we're in with the coronavirus. But as Sam said, you know, there's also this situation in the US that has really shaken people with the Floyd. So it's a time when many people are wondering what's going on, because there's a lot of new things which we had never experienced before. Please keep your mics mute. I hear someone talking. It means the the mic is on. Okay, so what we've been through is kind of a shock to our whole system as we know it. It's not just a health challenge, but it's a financial, a social, and a spiritual one. But it's a storm. It's a storm we are in, and all storms come and go. Storms don't last forever. They come and they can do some damage, but then they move on. And I'm going to talk today just on how we can survive or how we can manage the storms of life. There are some negative aspects that this storm has caused, but at the same time, there's some positive aspects that can come out of it as well. And those positive aspects will be realized depending on how we ourselves choose to respond to these storms. During this time, I've been in Kampala, and you know, in Kampala, it has been a little bit different than maybe in Tanzania. They put us in a very tight lockdown for 2 months. And up to now, we still don't have complete freedom. Public transport is not moving as freely as it has been. There are no bodas, and if you are in a dala, they only allow it to operate at half capacity. And the schools here have yet to open. So it's been a tough time, but there are gifts that come out of such situations. And during a storm, we need to look for the gifts as well as the challenges. So as I said today, my topic is going to be on managing the storms of life. And I have this PowerPoint. If you would like to get it, I'll give it to you at the end. One thing we should realize, storms are natural. They come every once in a while. They cause some disorganization, some chaos, but there's a way that they restore balance. They shift things around, and in the process, something new can emerge. And it's good that they are temporary. They're not a permanent condition. Just like this man in the Old Testament called Job, he went through a very terrible storm, but eventually he emerged and he was even better. His life was better afterwards. But when storms come, they test our strength and they expose our weakness. A storm tests our strength and they expose our weakness. There's a place where Jesus was speaking in Matthew 7, where he said, "Whoever hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on a rock." And he was talking about a man who was in a storm. And he was comparing two different individuals that had gone through this storm. One had built his house on a sandy, weak foundation. And when the storm came, it crushed the house. Another man built the house on a solid foundation. And when the storm came, the house did not go down. So Jesus said, "Whoever hears these words of mine and puts to practice is like a wise man who built his house on a rock." So I'm going to give you some thoughts today. And these are just thoughts that you can use to build your house on a firm foundation. The metaphor of building a house on a strong foundation speaks to how each of our lives has a foundation to it. Each of our lives has something that is we are built on. And if you build your life on something strong, when storms come, they don't put you down. But if there's no strong foundation to your life, any storm can come up and it can put you down. So welcome everybody. We have about 70 or so people, and we're just going to go through this talk that I have for you today called 7 Thoughts on Managing the Storms of Life. 7 Thoughts on Managing the Storms of Life. And I put my email on the screen. If you would like to get this, I can send it to you. Okay, the first point, I have 7 thoughts. The first thought that I want to share with you is for you to realize that storms are natural occurrences that keep coming throughout life. This is not the last storm you're going to face in life. At my age, I've been through more storms than you have. And what I've seen, even from people who are older than me, they tell me that these storms keep coming throughout our lives. It might be a different kind of storm each time, but it's something that shakes us. And when we know that they are regular occurrences, a storm teaches us to be ready. For example, this storm, Corona, has taught people that they need to save some money for such situations, not to be caught unawares. Storm can also teach us to be resilient, to be flexible, and not to believe that the situation that we have been in will just continue indefinitely. So storms teach us to think ahead and to be hardworking. But as I said earlier, these are natural occurrences that keep coming throughout life. They test us and they teach us many things. I would say one of the things that storms teach us is the importance in investing in relationships, in savings and health and spirituality. In Cornerstone, we talk about the 4 areas of life: the physical, the mental, the social, and the spiritual. And there's a way you can invest in each of those 4 areas so that when a storm comes, you have some capacity. You are not just left without any resources. So just, I want you to think especially about the aspect of investing in relationships, because friends are one of the most important things that you can have when you're going through a storm. But if you have not cultivated a friendship, when it's time for you to reach out to that person in the middle of a storm, they may not be close to you. They may not be used to you. So it's good to just spend time in relationships, cultivate relationships, so that when a storm comes, you have people you can turn to, not just financially, but people who you can turn to moral and spiritual support as well. But the first point of my 7 points is to realize storms are normal, and this is not the last storm you're going to have. So learn from the situation and just say, next time I need to be prepared, I need to do ABC. So my first thought is that storms are a natural part of life. Number 2, it's important to know that God is not affected by storms. For example, this coronavirus, God cannot get coronavirus. So storms come to remind us of what cannot be shaken, and they come to draw us close to God. When we become too proud, when we become too self-sufficient, God can cause something to happen to us that forces us to turn to Him. But I've put on the screen a picture. I don't know if you can see it. It's a picture of an eagle. And an eagle behaves differently when a storm comes. When a storm comes, these are the small birds. They go downwards to seek cover. They climb under a bush, they hide themselves. But the eagle has a different approach. When a storm is coming, an eagle goes up, because an eagle has the capacity to fly above the clouds. And it knows that above the clouds, the sun is still shining. There's no storm up there. So what does this teach us? That teaches us during a storm, let's be like an eagle. Let's not go down like the small birds and become full of fear and anxiety, but let's rise up, let's go up the cloud. And we get to that place where the sun is always shining. God is always there. Up above the clouds, the sky is blue. The sun is shining. I've ever flown in an airplane when we are taking off from the ground. There's a heavy storm, the rain is falling, the wind is blowing, but as soon as the airplane climbs above the cloud, up there everything is just okay. The storm is down. So when you're in a storm, think about going upwards, not just hiding and going downwards like the small birds. Be an eagle and go up. And as you go up into that space, you realize where you connect with with God, you realize that God loves you. He's always there for you, and He works all things together for good. So this means that every day we have this choice. We can get stuck under the dark clouds that are beating us down, the rain, or we can go upwards and connect into the light above the clouds. So this is just from the eagle. So point that to know that not a storm is good to rather going down in fear. Point number three. Point number three says, when we are going through a storm like the one we are in, all of humanity is in the same storm. This storm, Corona especially. So we might be in the same storm, but it's important to realize we are not in the same boat. We're in the same storm, but we are not in the same boat. So there's a picture on the screen of some boats that are caught when a storm is striking an ocean. And you can see the small boats are very vulnerable. They can get easily overwhelmed by the waves. So when you're going through a storm, just realize that you're in are not all in the same boat. Big boats, they are small boats. Particularly tend to hit the small boats. They don't. Those are like people who don't have the capacity to handle such difficult situations. So this has been a desperate time for some people who have lost their jobs and people who cannot earn their daily bread. For other people who are still getting a salary, it has been like a holiday. It has been an easy time, a time to be with family. But don't think that everyone is enjoying the same thing that you have been in if you have been in a good situation. So in a storm, realize that people are being affected differently, and you need to be sensitive. Here in Uganda this past week, we had 7 of the medical workers who have been on the front line of the corona have tested positive. So for these people, this is the worst time of their life. Other people that were alone during the lockdown, they experienced loneliness. But others, they were happy. They didn't have to report to work and they were with their family. So just realize we might be in the same storm, but we are not all in the same boat. This means to be sensitive. Be sensitive to how this storm might have affected others, and don't assume that everyone has had the same experience as you have had. Okay, point number 4 is that in a storm, you have the responsibility to keep yourself strong. So I've put another picture of a boat on an ocean up on the screen. And I want to make this point because the point is, in a storm, you have the responsibility to keep yourself strong. I've traveled in boats quite a bit, and what I've seen that all boats tend to take on a little bit of water. The big boats or the small boats, there's a way that water gets inside, but the people who are operating those boats, they keep scooping out the water. They keep throwing out the water. Like these small fishing canoes, those of you who have been on the lake, you will see that in those small fishing boats, the fishermen have something to scoop the water. As it enters, they scoop it out. So this means like you have the responsibility to keep your boat from getting swamped with too much water. All the water from all the oceans can never sink a boat unless it begins to get too much inside. So my point here is that you have a responsibility to keep yourself strong. When you see negativity coming in, when you see yourself getting depressed, scoop it out, throw it out. When you're passing through a storm and water is entering, make sure that you're always removing it. A storm can never sink you unless you allow it to get inside you, unless you allow it to depress you and get you down. There was a time when Jesus was speaking and the devil was trying to tempt him. And he made this comment in John 14, verse 30. He said, "The ruler of this world is coming to get me, but he has nothing in me." In other words, there was no he had nothing inside of Jesus to be able to get to him. So in the same, when you're going through a storm, you have to keep scooping out the negativity, scooping out anything that can allow your small boat to sink. And this is point number 4. You have to be responsible for the water that is getting inside your boat and keep removing it if you see water entering. Number 5 is for you guys who are products of a leadership academy. Wherever you go after CLA, it will always be on your records that you went to a leadership academy. And some of you now are students at CLA. So you have been prepared for leadership. And as leaders, we also have to realize we don't have to just keep ourselves strong, but we have a responsibility to keep those around us strong. During a storm, a good leader is a dealer in hope. You can see these presidents, they have been trying to encourage people, to let people know that we are going to survive. A good leader is a dealer in hope. In other words, a good leader speaks words that are giving hope to people. And so when you're in a storm and you're a leader, people are watching you. They're looking at how you are going to behave, how you're going to respond. So these next few points are directed especially to those of you who are leaders. And this one says, as a leader, recognize you can't just keep yourself strong. You also have to keep others strong. You have to encourage people and realize that everything you say or you do or you think, it has an effect on the people around you. You can see like, when it's time for the president to make a speech about this coronavirus, everyone is tuning in to hear what is he going to say because they want to know what situation we are in. I want to tell you a story from an experience that happened to people at the end of the Vietnam War. Vietnam War was when the US and Russia were battling in Iran, in the country of Vietnam. Vietnam was trying to be overtaken by the communists, and the US at that time was trying to stop the communist system from entering any other country. So they were fighting. The North Vietnam was communist, the South Vietnam was a US ally. And they fought for some time, and then the US decided that this war is never going to end, and they pulled out of Vietnam. But when the population of South Vietnam saw the US pulling out, they thought that we are finished. And over the next 20 years, 2 million refugees left Vietnam, fleeing by boats. And they met terrible conditions on the open waters. They met storms, they met pirates, they met hunger. But there was a man who was a spiritual teacher. I read some of his books, who said that he discovered that those boats that survived that situation, they had something in common. And he wrote about it like this. He said, when these boats met with the storms or pirates, people in the boat started to panic. And if everyone panicked, then the whole boat was confused and it was lost. But he said, if just one person on the boat remained calm and quiet and centered, it was enough. It kind of gave confidence to the others, and it showed they forever survive. So this point saying that as leaders, you have a responsibility to stay strong and to give hope to others. Just like in the story of the Vietnam refugee boats, where the people said, as long as there was one person who could stand up and give hope to others and speak words of faith that built up people, those are the boats that survived. Where everything went into panic and chaos, those are the boats that could not survive. Now, point number 6 is also for those of you who are leaders, and each of you who have been through the Leadership Academy. You're in training to be a leader in life. We're going to have these 7 points, and then I'll stop talking and we can have some sharing. But point number 6 is reminding us as leaders, often we have our own problems when we are supposed to be healing others. So don't think that you can only speak words of healing when you have everything in your life? Okay. So this point number 6 says, a leader is often a wounded healer. A leader must speak healing words and act in healing ways, even if they are wounded themselves. And I think this applies all through life, not just in a storm, but you'll see like at CLA, the leaders and the teachers, they are trying to heal others, but if you talk to them, you will discover they have issues, they have problems. So one of the things that you need to learn as a leader is to operate even when you yourself are wounded. If you think that being a leader means that you can only be strong when you don't have any problems and then you help to others, it's not the way it works. A leader is often a wounded healer. In other words, you have something that you are in pain about, but you're also having to reach out to others. And almost everybody out there that you meet today is having some kind of challenge or fighting some kind of battle, just as you are. So don't just keep quiet when you are in pain. Even when you're in pain, still speak words of hope to others. Almost everyone these days needs to hear words like, you'll be okay. There are better days ahead. I care about you. Small acts of kindness, these kind of words, they give strength to weary people. And sometimes it's just, you are the lifeline that people have to lean on when they're discouraged. So point number 6 talks about a leader is often a wounded healer. In other words, don't think that it's only when you yourself have solved all your problems that you're going to help others. You need to learn how to give words of encouragement, words of hope. And the interesting thing, as you go on encouraging others, you yourself start to receive. Jesus said, give and it will be given to you. So it is interesting that whatever we do to others, God brings that thing back into our life. And there's a law, there's a principle that whatever you give, you receive. So there are angels wanting to bless you, to fulfill this divine law in your life. So give even when you are wounded, even when you are hurting yourself, and you will now see God coming into the picture and giving you what you need as well. My last point says that storms, this is point number 7, storms shift things around. They create change, but in every change, there's now a new opportunity to improve. So during a storm, when there's a crisis or a situation where things that we are used to have been disrupted, recognize that there's an opportunity in that situation. Recognize that a new chapter is being offered to you, that there are ways that you can start to change old habits and move in a new direction because of this crisis. In those kind of difficult moments, that's when we ask God these big questions. What is the point of all this? Why am I here? What is my mission? What am I doing? So storms or crises are when we ourselves ask questions. But those crises also ask questions about us. They ask us, what are you learning from this? What have you been avoiding that you need to shift? So in a storm, recognize when everything is changing, there's an opportunity being given to you, an opportunity to see new ways of doing things and move out of the old habits or old patterns where you have been stuck and open up a new chapter. It's not a nice feeling to be in a situation where you feel lost or where you feel stuck, but that situation is telling us this is a time for you to change, to do something new, to do something different. So storms, they shake things up, they disrupt things, but they create new opportunities. So these are the 7 thoughts that I have for you today. I'll just recap them. Number 1 was that storms are natural occurrences. They keep coming throughout our lives. They teach us to be ready, to be resilient, to think ahead. That's number 1. Just know that they are natural. They'll keep coming. They're not always as difficult, maybe as the one we are in now, but you should never think that there'll be a time of life when there are no storms. Storms are normal. They bring balance back to situations where there's been a lack of balance. That's number one. Number two, God is not affected by storms. Always turn to God during the time of the storm. He's just like the eagle goes upward during a storm. Go upward to God, don't go down in fear. Number three says, we may be in the same storm, but we are not all in the same boat. Be sensitive to those around you. Recognize this experience has hit others much harder than others. There are some people who have even benefited from this. They have made money maybe where other people have lost money. Point number four says, in a storm, you have the responsibility to keep yourself strong. You have to keep the water out of your boat. You have to make sure that you yourself are strong enough. So take care of yourself. Find the things that build you up, that strengthen you. Find what charges your batteries. The next 2 points, 5 and 6, are for leaders. As leaders, we have to realize that we also have a responsibility to keep those around us strong. And a lot of times, a storm reveals a leader. It shows who are the people who can speak words of hope and speak words of encouragement. Number 6 says, learn to be a wounded healer. A wounded healer is someone who is still speaks healing words and acts in healing ways, even if they are wounded themselves. So this point says, don't think just because you have been wounded that you are exempt from healing others. Just know that the best leaders continue to speak and act in healing ways, even when they themselves have issues. And I can tell you this goes on throughout life. I've never met a leader who doesn't have some problem himself, but you can't know it in the best leaders because they're still having something to give to others. They have a heart, they have a kindness, they have a word to share even when they are wounded themselves. Okay, the last point of the 7 was that storms shake things up, they create change, but just know that in every change, there's an opportunity to make something better. There's an opportunity for a new chapter, a new way forward. So don't just look at a storm as a negative thing. Look at it as an opportunity to open up a new chapter or to move in a new direction. So those are the 7 points. Grandfather did, which had brought a curse upon her country. But she's not given any direction, any guidance. She's just told, as you start your journey, just keep doing the next right thing. Wherever you face a situation, just do the next right thing. So this was the message that I picked from that movie. Just to do the right thing. You don't always know where life is taking you. You don't know where things are going. You can't see the whole staircase. Martin Luther King Jr. said that faith is learning to take the right step even when you can't see the whole staircase. So when we were starting Cornerstone, many people asked us, did you plan that it would be like this? And I always tell them, no, we just saw things one step at a time. But as we did the next right thing, then things got better and we were able to take another step and another step. So this point is saying that when you are stuck, just focus on what is the next right thing. And the next right thing in your life is often nothing big or flashy. It is seldom recognized or applauded by others. Most people won't even know that you did it. It's usually something small that God has been telling you to do, but you're not doing it. It might be apologizing to somebody that you hurt or forgiving someone who hurt you. We look at these things as small, but they're the things that are keeping us from getting into alignment with the will of God. It might be stopping an unhealthy habit or keeping a promise that you made to someone. The next right thing, you will know it in your heart. Just look for the small things. Don't look for something big. It may be a sin to confess and repent of. It may be a need for you to call a family member and tell them that you are sorry, that you love them, or write a thank you note. So when you do the next right thing, you start to put your life back into alignment with the perfect will of God. So this is a teaching that says if you are stuck, because a lot of times in the middle of a storm, when things that we are used to get taken away, we don't know which way to turn. And the message here is just do the next right thing. Find that small thing that God is telling you to do and do it. However small it is, whether people see it or not, just take that step. In James chapter 4, verse 17, it says, therefore, to the one who knows the right thing to do and does not do it, to him it is a sin. So it's showing us that we cannot get our lives back into alignment where God can bless us, where we can flow in the perfect will of God if we are not walking in obedience to the small things that he is showing us to do. So when you are stuck or you're in a storm and you're wanting to know how to move forward, just do the next right thing. That small thing that you know in your heart you're supposed to do. And as you do that small thing, one by one, you'll come out of the situation you are in. You don't have to see the whole staircase to know where you are climbing to. You just look at the step that God is showing you. Take that step. Once you have taken that step, the next step will keep occurring. As you walk in obedience, you put your life back into alignment with the will of God. So thank you guys for sharing for this time with me. This is my sharing for today. If you'd like this, you can write an email to me. It's just my name, Tim Kreuter, with no space, @gmail.com, and I can send it to you. So this is my sharing for you guys from COSA TZ. It's been great to be with all of you. I know it's a time that has brought a lot of uncertainty to many people. It's a storm that has come, but if we just learn to move through a storm well, there are better days ahead, there are brighter days, and we just want to encourage you to stay strong, not to give up, not to get stressed, not to do drastic things, and we'll come out of this thing together. So God bless you, and I'm looking for Brandley or Sanya Sam to come back into the picture. I can take a few comments. There are also notes that are coming up in the chat. The chat room on the side there says, we have a note from Grace Tanya says, thank you so much, Uncle Tim, for sharing. It's indeed inspirational. I just want to add that whatsoever we find in the storm, we just have to remember that God is always there to lift us up. So when Jesus is in the boat with us, it doesn't mean we shall not meet storms, but we have someone who we can lean on and call on. So we're going to have a little bit of time of sharing. If you would like to comment, you can put your hand up like this, or you can type something in the chat bar, and we can allow a few people to contribute. I'm going to need someone to help moderate this. I don't know, Sam, are you ready to come on and
yes,
have some interaction? Brandley, you'll have to be careful to unmute those who might want to say something. So over to you, Sam.
Thank you very much. And just want members, please put on the video and just smile and say, Uncle, thank you by doing this. If you can see me, I want you to switch on your videos and be able to say to Uncle, give him a high five, okay? Thank you very much, our dear Uncle. For sure, I have been blessed. And for me, on my part, I just want to appreciate you for your leadership. The old students are here, and I think that none of the old student who is at campus, who is being supported by Cornerstone, has failed to get support. Around this time, most of the camp are losing it out when things are disorganized. So we thank you, dear Uncle Tim, for your leadership, even at CLA. We have never.
Okay, thank you, Sam. You are frozen. Okay. All right. So if you'd like to say something, put your hand up like this. If you'd like to make a comment. Felista wrote in chat, nice to hear from you, Uncle. I'm blessed. I'm ready to move on again. So this is a time for us to encourage each other to be strong, not to let the storms disorganize us, to bring fear into our lives, but to encourage us to be strong, to be leaders, dealers in hope. So if you'd like to say something, put your hand up or write your name in the chat, and we'll try to unmute you if you feel like something. So put your hand up like this, or put your name that you would like to share on the bar, and we'll try and get over to mute you. Okay, Sam, anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, Abdul Gereza says, God bless you, sir. And nice. Okay, you read that one for Felista, but I just want to let you know that because of the uncertainties, network is disturbing, but our members are really on, and people from there are gathered somewhere. If you have any question, please, this is the time. If you have any reflection, please bring it into the chat, or just raise up your hand. Branley, can you see those people who are raising up their hands?
Seeing big in Dar es Salaam, so greetings to all you guys. Kosa Dar, kuona vizuri, habari zenu.
Uncle, you tell them ninawapenda sana, meaning you love them so much.
Sana pia. Hata Sam anawapenda. Okay, anyone like to put up? This looks okay. Anyone like to say something?
Thank you so much, Brother Tim, Uncle Tim, and in so many ways of how you have encouraged us. This message has come timely. This is the time when our students, the conference has just come in with a lot of pressure from home. Exams are closed. Something to do with the 3 weeks from now. And with this message you shared this evening, it is really touching and encouraging and inspiring. I would like to re-echo the points you talked about. I'll major my interest in point number 5, where you say leaders that unless you have that where you said as leaders we have responsibility to keep strong even when the storm is there. And in the same way, this cuts across all of us, whether one is a teacher or a student. All of us have to have faith. For example, on the side of teachers, we have to have faith in the students that even when coronavirus has disorganized the system, the way things have been made, we have faith in our students that they will do much better in all ways. Then I am also interested finally in the point number 7, where you say that storms shift things around us. Storms shift things around us. And in every thing shifted, I think here we also have to learn that whatever comes, comes for good. You have to identify something that you need to shift for the betterment of not only oneself, but also people around. Thank you so much, Uncle Tim, for sharing with us. God bless.
All right, thank you, Babu. Yeah, I think, you know, our students at CLA have probably gone through one of the biggest storms because, you know, they were home. They didn't know when they were going to come back. They're, you know, supposed to sit exams. So you can imagine the stress that they were in. And so this has been a time of a troubling time for them. I know university students, you also could not study, but you can imagine these guys are anticipating their exams coming and they don't know what is happening. So we just pray a special prayer for the senior sixes at CLA. Just stay calm, do the best that you can in a storm. Just keep doing the next right thing. Don't panic. Don't wonder, you know, how things will turn out. Just settle yourselves and do the best you can. So Babu was just emphasizing that and encourage one another. You don't, point number 5 was, it's not just to encourage yourself, but you are responsible for your brothers and sisters to keep them calm and say, look, every student in Tanzania in senior 6 is in the same boat we are in. And at least for us, we have had the support of the school during this period when we have been home. And they're giving us everything we need. So let's stay calm. Let's appreciate the situation that we have. And we work hard to get ready for the exams. Patrick Iradakunda is he's from Rwanda, but he's in CLA. He says it's a blessing when you're in a storm and you have someone to encourage you. And this is really the purpose of us meeting like this, because if you're alone in a storm, and you don't have a family of friends, you can imagine the people out there who don't have the support community that we have in Cornerstone. They get shaken much more by such situations. So we have this wonderful blessing that God has given us as a family of friends. And during storms, that's when you can really know that you have people around you. Nimbuani from Albania says, thank you so much, Uncle Tim, for this sharing. And to all who echoed out or added something. May God bless you. I've learned a lot and happy to see all of you, missing you so much. There was a group of TZ students in Albania that were trying to get back to TZ before the airline flights were shut down, and they failed. Some of them even went as far as Turkey, and then they had to turn back. So there's a group of our brothers and sisters there, and Nimbuani is with them. And Barnaba says, thank you so much, Uncle Tim, for your great insights. I and my wife, clap for him, he's now married. Barnaba says, I and my wife, we have been following you from the beginning, and we been blessed. Here in Uganda, we are having what they call scientific weddings, where people are getting married without any kind of bigger celebration. They just go and do the legal things small way, and Museveni here has called those scientific weddings. They are not cultural weddings, they are scientific, and they get their papers and it's okay. So we've had like 2 COSA members who were preparing to marry during this time, and then these restrictions came in, so they decided to have a scientific wedding. I know Barnaba also had a good experience. Okay, so we have a couple of people with their hands up. We have Julius Ejalam. Barnaba's hand is also up, so I don't have the capacity to unmute you. Brandley, you will have to unmute Master Ejalam, and then also Barnaba would like to say something. If you can unmute them, Brandley. Mr. Ejalam, I think you're on. Go ahead, Julius.
Thank you, Uncle Tim, for this such a timely message. It's refreshing. It's like if you've had a long run or a long walk and you get some cold water, some cold water, it gives you cold water and it refreshes your body. So this message comes in a moment of refreshing us all. And I like it especially that you've spoken to us in Tanzania, but including our candidate class students who are listening in right now. I feel that it's refreshing for them in many ways to hear this from you, Uncle. So I want to encourage them as well that, as you said, this COVID-19 has affected all senior 6 students in Tanzania. So stay strong. And mine goes hand in hand with your point number 4. Say you have a responsibility to keep yourself strong. I think that each one of us in different boats in this storm that we are all faced with. I want to encourage us, the senior 6 students, to encourage yourself to keep yourself strong, much as the encouragement comes from the outside as well. But also being sensitive to others who, as you said, Uncle Tim, to whom these our students who are here with us, some of them could have had some of their loved ones go, maybe uncles, or some of their uncles have lost their jobs, or parents have lost their work, and things like that. So being sensitive to such a thing as this, but also I encourage them to speak out to outside there. And there are some of their friends to whom life is the bleak. And for those in Cornerstone, they may have an opportunity to have a loan or have some money from Mr. Johnson or Madam Wajuma to help them through this time period. But feel for others and keep each one of us prayed that this storm passes over without really adversely affecting us, to be a people and retain the community.
Okay, thank you, Master Ejelam. Your internet is starting to freeze up, but I think we got the point that this is a time when...
But thank you, Uncle Tim. It's been, I hope, for everyone else here. It's refreshing to know that God is with us and that people like you are here with us as well.
All right, so
thank you.
We're waiting for Barnaba. Apparently he wants to say something. Egusa Kapesa said, so blessed to hear a powerful sharing from you, Uncle, and sincerely you said it all. At this time, Corona across the world is shaking the economy, families, businesses. I think even this stress that we're having in the US, people are stressed out. So anything small can bust and it becomes a big thing. And we're having this racism, Black Lives Matter protest. But even in this, I believe something good is going to come out of this. It has shaken the whole country, but it has highlighted the ways that many of the Blacks have not been given the same opportunities as whites. There's not so much direct racism in America, there's some, but there is systemic racism. There's systemic discrimination, means that the system is hard for Blacks to penetrate. If you ask the average white person, they say, no, I have no problem with Blacks, but the system itself is a bit hard for Black people to come up and access the same opportunities. So I think this storm of the racism in the States is actually also good. Things will not be people. We have to the conditions that we're making our Black brothers to suffer. So this is a storm, but as I said earlier, a storm brings new opportunities, and it's based on how we respond. So we can respond individually or collectively. We can choose to learn something from the storm, and we come out of the storm and we do something in a better way. Nisia says, thank you, Daddy, for the words of encouragement. Indeed, the words are said at the right time. Be blessed. During this time, we all have to examine ourselves to stay on the right track. And this is a time also to show love by taking time to pray for one another wherever they are. And she says, happy to see all of you. Let's keep the spirit, even though there's a distance. Okay, so who do we have? Anyone that wants to share? Okay, Madame Susan. Branley, I'm not hearing you. I hope you're the one to unmute, but Susan wants to say something. Okay, you're on, Susan, go ahead.
Oh, thank you so much, Uncle Tim, for such a timely message as this. What wonderful and empowering points there. I wanted just to echo something more on point number 7. Storms shake up things around us.
Okay, go ahead.
I was following up what was going on in the US in line with in line with the death of George Floyd, things set a precedence. It's Hammers back. But focusing on that, in line with shifting of shifting around us, it's true, this whole pandemic has affected the way of our behavior change has helping shake up things. As far as our health, for example, is concerned, the thing that stands out for me is that even with the occurrence of this pandemic, it has opened up doors of opportunities where people would see challenges. To us as a community, I believe it has opened up opportunities for us as well to step up and live up to the fullest of our potentials. Personally, I have a message of gratitude. The whole family.
Okay, your audio and video is breaking up.
We have not registered so far here in Tanzania anyone who has and to all the members, students as well. This is an opportunity. So it's just.
Okay, I think you're muted now, Susan, but I think she was saying, we just thank God for the fact that this thing has not destabilized our community. I don't know if she said we haven't had anyone who's been affected, but at least we haven't had anyone who has died. So Elia, Frederick Michael says, eagles behave differently when a storm comes. And that was my point, that eagles, they go upwards when other birds are going down in fear. So be an eagle, move closer to God, move above the clouds. Once you get up above the clouds, there's light, there's sunshine, there's peace, there's no of the rain and the pressure below the crowds. Majuma says in the Quran, Surah Inshirah says, with every hardship, there's an ease. In other words, God makes a way where there seems to be no way. So with every hardship, there's a way out of it. So thank you so much for your sharing. Rachel Banda says, thanks for the wonderful sharing. Be blessed, my friends. Grace Sanya says, unity and love is key here. Let's stay together. Let's love each other, care for one another. We'll make it through this storm. All right, we have some people in groups, I don't know, who want to comment. Maybe the group in Dar Salam, can we unmute the group in Dar who are seated in a group? And if there are other groups, they can also say something. Do we still have the Dar people? I'm not seeing them. Oh yes, Kosa, Udism. All right, can we unmute Kosa Dar Salam? Kosa something. Or any other group? Okay, so do we have anybody ready? Kosa Dar Salam, you go ahead. Zawadi, is that you?
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you, Agotin, for sharing with us. It has been a blessing.
We thank you for that contribution. Yeah. says facing difficulties is inevitable, but learning from them is optional. So yeah, you can go through things, but you learn the next storm, the same situation, or you have learned something that next time around you'll be able to do in a different way. So yeah, storms also show us weaknesses, places that we need to be better prepared, and so that's catch us unawares. Okay, anyone else? Sam, you'd like to say something?
Chris's hand was up.
Okay, but we need someone who can unmute these people who want to speak, because
all right,
I don't have that capacity. Yes, Chris, we are ready.
All right, thank you, Uncle Tim. I wish to comment on the storm, the part of the storm. You're right, we need to ask Jesus, who is in the boat, for a hand. But I wish to add on something else. There was a second storm besides that one where Jesus was in the boat. And this other second storm happened to the disciples of Jesus. And this time he wasn't in the same boat with them, but he came to their rescue, because he's in the very first place who sent them to go where they were going. And so he sends them and asks to go ahead of him. So perhaps even some of us in a situation where perhaps you don't feel God so close to you, sleeping, but even those that were in the boat, they called out to him. So I want to encourage each of us to do the same and call him. Thank you.
Yeah, don't think that it's only strong people who can call when they're on Jesus. He listens to all of us, and you know, whatever the situation, he's always there to come to us when we call to him. So even if we have not been moving with him in the same boat, Chris is saying, you still have the ability to call out. All right, thank you, Chris. Anyone else ready to say something?
There's a question from one student.
Okay, somebody at CLA students, yeah?
Does it hurt, Gary? It means that your own daughter is rejecting you because she...
Interference. I think Elia is ready to say something. Who is, okay, CLA students, yeah, go ahead. Is that Hannah? Hannah, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much for what you've shared with us this evening. I had a question that personally I thought it was a bit easy, but I still don't have an answer to it. I direct answer. When you say that we're supposed to provide as leaders, to provide healing, even though the way I understand it is we provide healing when we already are healed. So is it possible to provide healing to a person when we are not healed from such a difficulty? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. It wasn't so clear. She was talking about healing, but I can't say that I got exactly what she was saying. But clarification on her point, because I could not hear it so well. The sound was a bit weak. But as we're waiting for that, maybe someone can type it. Brandy, you can type her question in the chat, then I'll respond to it. Charlie says, these things I've spoken unto you, that ye might have peace. John 16:33. In the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world.
It would take much longer to get there.
So, the words of a leader, the words of God, the words of Jesus are spoken to give us peace and to make us strong, and to know that in this world we will have tribulation, but to still be of good cheer, to still be strong, not get disorganized. All right, Vincent Coulet says, the fact that we are in the same storm but in different boats can help us to become leaders, behave as leaders. So let us be the leaders that we are. Leadership, again, we just see it as the ability to influence others. So you can be a voice for peace, or you can be a voice for fear. You can be a voice that encourages people, or you can be a voice that discourages them. So we're just encouraging all of you to step up to your leadership ability. Don't speak words that are hurting, even when you are hurting yourself. Be a wounded healer if you are wounded, and still continue to be strong. All right. Hannah was asking, is it possible to help another person to get healed if you're not healed on the same thing? Well, I can just say, like, for example, a lot of times when there's a bad situation, you might be feeling a lot of fear, and yet you can decide not to show people that fear. You can decide to speak words of faith. And in that way, you are actually healing somebody, even though you yourself are affected by the same thing. So I think in some cases it's possible, Hannah, maybe other cases it isn't. But the point I'm making here is that a lot of times, the best leaders, we call them, they are wounded healers, even when they have their own issues, their own problems, because I can guarantee you, all these people who we are looking up to in life, they also have issues, but some of them, when they're in a problem, they can't do anything for others, they can't speak because they are so preoccupied with their own wound. But here we are saying the best leaders are still wounded healers. They speak words of kindness, they speak words of healing, even when they themselves are wounded in one way or another. That was the point I was trying to make, Hannah. I think it can depend on the situation whether you can heal somebody. But you look at it like this. There could be a doctor who is operating on someone, and that doctor has maybe probably that doctor on someone's heart. So it is possible, but let's not lose the point. And the point is that don't think as a leader you can only do something for others when you have no problems, because otherwise you won't be able to do much. All right, anyone else would like to say something?
Nipo tayari kuzungumza.
Okay, go ahead. Endelea. Do we have anyone?
I think Joram wanted to speak.
Joram and...
Good evening, Uncle. Good evening, everyone.
Monday also has his hand up. Monday, you'd be ready. Joram, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Uncle Tim, for sharing with us, managing your storm. We really thank God that this has been a kind of storm, but we are grateful to God that our boat is different. We really thank God for that. Others have suffered in terms of their health, in terms of their economy. Some have lost their dear ones. But for us, God has been so grateful to us, and we really thank Him. And we thank you for your time. For me, I would love to comment on point number 2. God is not affected by storms, but storms comes as a reminder for us to draw close to God. Yes, God sometimes uses storm. We caught routines of this world and the masumbufu ya dunia, the troubles of the world, and we become so busy chasing the things of the world Then God, we start to chase our dreams and our career. Because God is a relational God, He wants a relationship with us. Sometimes He uses the storms to speak to us. And when you go into the Bible, the story of Jonah, it reminded us God sent a storm to Jonah because Jonah was given a task by God to go and preach the gospel to Nineveh to serve God. But because of his own priorities, he decided to go to the opposite direction. But God was in need of him. And then he used the storm to speak to Jonah. The point, they were thinking perhaps the luggage is what were the problem. They started to throw the luggage into the water. But the storm was still there because God was searching for his people, for his man. So God uses storm to search for his people. And I believe even in this storm, God has already found his people. And his people has already found him. So we thank you very much, team, for this message. And to us also, this has been a time of reflection. As you also have shared that storms, sometimes they test our strengths, and also they expose our weaknesses. And some of us Christians, we have been tested, and we have realized also where our weaknesses were. So this message has come at the right time. Thank you very much for your time. God has already found his people, even in the midst of this storm.
Thank you, Joram, giving us the story of Jonah. The story of Jonah appears, I think, both in the Bible and the Quran. How he was supposed to be doing something and he did not do it, so a storm came to wake him up, to shake him up. All right, we have Mondi ready to go. Mondi, go ahead, you are next. Yeah, Mondi, unmute Mondi.
Yes, Uncle. Thank you so much for the wonderful and timely sharing, Uncle. It's really great. And I want to take us back to the point number 6. You mentioned about being a leader is being a wounded healer. And my view is that to be a wounded healer, you also need to have an experience, but again, sharing your experience with others, having the courage to share your experience with other people who are also wounded, or you share the same problem or similar problems. Now, Uncle, I have a question on that.
Okay.
How can a person, as a leader, how do you get the courage or to share your experience, no matter how worse it may be or it could be? Yeah, kind of stuff. So some of us have experiences, and I think this experience could also help other people and heal other people, but we have not been doing that because of a lack of confidence to share the experiences. So I would want to hear from you now, Uncle.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Monday. He's making a good point. You know, sometimes we think a leader is just made out of steel, like a Superman that has no weaknesses. But, you know, good leaders also show that they have gone through storms. And, you know, like I went through a terrible storm some years back with my daughter. She was in the US. I was trying to get Cornerstone up and moving, and she was really breaking down. She tried to commit suicide a couple times, and here I'm in Africa helping kids, and my own daughter is breaking down. So it was a terrible time, and it went on for like 2 years. So there are times I could even cry and you know, show people that I was really suffering. So a good leader doesn't hide the fact that they have had tough situations. And those tough situations are actually the things, Mondi, that we can share, because if people think you have had an easy life, you have never handled any problem, They don't want to open up to you. But when you become vulnerable, and this is one of the beauties of the family of friends, we have a family of friends that still loves us. No matter what we have done, that unconditional love keeps us together. So all these things that we have gone through, they're for us to share with others. If we pretend as if we have lived the perfect life, we are denying others to learn from our mistakes. So Monday, I would just encourage you, because like in our community, we have younger people who might head in the wrong direction, like some of you guys who are from older generations that have some life experiences now to share with them. So please, all of us, just let's get Monday's point that as a leader, you can also share your struggles. And those struggles are actually the experiences that can help someone who's in a problem. But if you appear to be this perfect person who has never cried, who has never struggled, it will be hard for you to really console others. They will look at you as if you don't know what they are going through. So I would say, Monday, vulnerability. Vulnerability is strength. It is not a weakness to let people know that you've also been there. So just look at vulnerability as a strength and not a weakness, and then people will learn from your experiences. Because his question was, how do we do that? We do it by being vulnerable. All right, we had a list after Monday, we have Magoli. So Magoli, you're ready to go, you can unmute. Yeah, go ahead, Magoli.
Points that you have shared with us, I think number seven has sounded very much fruitful to me, and it has been practical through this season. Number 7 says that the storm brings changes. Can you hear me? So how has it been with Corona? We have been pushed to change. I can give my own practical example that with Corona, it has brought us to use online, to do online activities. Like now we are using Zoom. It wasn't a very preferable method before Corona came, but now we are forced to use Zoom. The same case applies to even business. People are forced to use online business, and it's just because of Corona. But it's not a bad thing. It has given us an opportunity to improve. We're improving on our use of technology, because you can bear witness with me that most of us didn't know how to use online opportunities such as Skype, use of emails, use of Zoom, video conferencing. But now with this, it has forced us to go to that direction. And like Mondi was saying that I think I'm still lagging behind with this. So it's a time that is challenging all of us. The changes have come. It's a new normal. They call it a new normal that has come, and we just have to move on with it. But also on the health side, it has brought us the new normal of learning to be clean. People are taking it easy, not washing their hands when they have come from latrines, when they have come from dirty places. And diarrhea was killing us. Cholera was killing Africans. It was killing many of us, many of our people around. And maybe it was just because we didn't learn the discipline of washing our hands. But now here it has come, and it has just brought us better changes that now people know. When I'm from outside, I have to wash my hands. When I come from doing a certain chore, I have to wash my hands. It's just but a good discipline. So to me, I have seen that it has worked for me. I've learned the new technology, but I've also seen people changing positive, like in the health perspective. Thank you, Uncle Tim. It was nice sharing, and I've learned a lot this evening. And I
Okay.
promise to take the message to others.
All right, thank you, Magoli. She was
Thank you.
emphasizing point number 7, which just says that a storm forces change. And we should not just be afraid. We should know that, okay, things have to change, and we embrace change, and we try and make the best of the situation rather than being disorganized by change. So this storm brings new things. It opens a new chapter, and we have to be strong and embrace that in a positive way. And she mentioned some of the things. We have Abdul Ngereza up next, but as he's getting ready, there's a message from Dustin. Kulwa says, thank you so much, Uncle Tim, for the nice message. Indeed, I have picked up many things today from the sharing, and I hope in one way or the other, I'll not remain the same. God bless you. We are together directly from Singida. I also saw on here Rebecca from, I don't know if Rebecca is in Rwanda, but I think this situation got her in Rwanda. Rebecca, yeah.
She's in Tanzania.
She's in TZ, okay. So right now we want to hear from Abdul Ngereza. So Abdul, just unmute your mic and you can go ahead and speak. Abdul.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, we are hearing you. Speak loud and continue.
For the sharing, Uncle Tim. Thank you for everything you've done for us so far. And I would likely like to pass my sincere gratitude to you because I've learned a lot from you personally, and thank you for everything. And my comment this evening goes to two sides. First, this is an opportunity I would like to really cherish because I wanted to talk to my brothers, the senior 6, before they do exam. And also I wanted to comment and share with all of us. First of all, I would like to talk to the senior 6, especially at this point in time. I've passed through this point in time, but it wasn't the same time with these storms. But I like to tell you, like, I believe in you. I really believe on what you are doing. I believe in your efforts and everything. And I really like to tell you that you will pass, and you will pass very well, and just be strong. And as Uncle Tim has told us, like, right now we see like we have stuck, but we should focus on the next right thing. And the next right thing is to focus on the journey of nectar ahead of us, and I believe we will pass. And the next thing I would like to talk to all of us, this is in line with the sharing, all the 7 thoughts of Uncle Tim on this storm. And I would like to focus mostly on that we have the responsibility of keeping ourselves and keeping others around us very strong. So we should do our best, keep ourselves, others strong, and this will help us. Being positive at this point in time, it's greater than doing anything. So we should, as possible, the senior 6, my brothers, just be positive as possible. Don't see time as it's it's short, but I believe you will do something. I believe in you very much, and I believe in all of us. I believe in this family. I love you so much, and I would like to tell you, like, we all have time for. We all pass through storms in our life, so everyone has an experience of a storm in his life. So we should let God lead. And I would like to advise all of us to take our times and pray so much at this point in time in this storm. We should pray and focus and do all the thing. Let us focus on the next right thing, and I believe we'll journey to a positive and successful path.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Abdul. And a question has come in from the CLA students. They say, what if you are trying to get above the clouds, trying to be strong, but sometimes you feel like you can't? What we're talking about getting above the clouds, it is an internal thing. It doesn't mean that you are going to solve every problem there. There was an earlier statement from Abijay that said some situations are beyond your control, and no matter what you do, you can't change a thing. So just focus on the things that you can control. So like CLA students, you can't control what is going to happen after the exams, but you can control the time that you have right now to prepare. You can control how you are using your time. You can also try and control your own emotions. Don't allow yourself to get discouraged. So I think Abby J's recommendation applies to your question, is focus on the things that are under your control. And Abdu was saying, this thing of just do the next right thing. One of the quotations I shared from Martin Luther King was saying that you don't have to see the whole staircase where it is taking you to take the next step. Sometimes you only see that one step, but just take it. If you take that step, the next step will reveal itself, and the next, but you seldom in life can you see the whole staircase where it is leading. So don't get yourself ahead of yourself. Just focus on what you can do right now. So for CLA students, the main thing you can do, just concentrate, do the best you can. When we talk about getting above the storm, we're talking about an emotional or spiritual journey that you need to take within yourself, which is to get close to God. Find a way to get above the storms and get into the sunlight that is above the storm. And in that space, the sun is always shining. The sun, for us down here on Earth, at times it looks like it's hiding behind a cloud. But if you get in an airplane and you go up there, you realize the sun is always shining. Even when it is dark outside, the sun is shining on the other side of the world. So what it's trying to teach us is that God is unchanging. Storms come and go, but God is always there. Life continues, and God is always on the throne. So getting above the clouds is a spiritual metaphor for going inside yourself, getting closer to God, getting into a place where you feel the presence of God, and away from the fears that are maybe hitting you from the world around you. So I think that's what we're talking about. All right, we're just going to take a few last comments and then hear a word of gratitude. So I think, yeah, we'll just hand it over to CLA students have something to say. And then after they say something, I'll close in a prayer and we'll call it a day. But let's hear from the CLA students.
Okay. I'm team Kosa community, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We're very grateful to be part of this meeting this evening. It is encouraging and inspiring all of us. One thing I have to say that one of the things that this song has come with is time, abundance of time. Abundance of time, enough time to do anything he or she needs to do. So what will happen to our lives after the whole thing depends on how we use this time that we're having right now. And we are thanking all of you for the encouragement, and we will make sure that we will great for the glory of God. So we believe that he who dwells in us is greater than the one who is in the world. Be blessed.
All right. So yeah, CLA students, just focus on the time that you have. Accept the things that you cannot change, and just get courage to change the things that you can. That is from Chris. So just, yeah, don't don't get so caught up in under your control. Things that are under your control, weeks, just do the best you can and leave the rest up. So we have now, Brandley would like to say some concluding remarks. So go ahead, Brandley. You want to do that, I think, Brandley, go ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to appreciate everyone who was able to join. We had people sitting in groups. We had about 54 people from Cornerstone, Tanzania, both teachers and students, and we had other groups in the rest of. So we had a total number of 142 members joining for this session. So thank you so much, Uncle, for sharing with us, and God bless you, and thank you for joining us. Students are going to clap hands as a sign of appreciating you. Let's clap our hands here. And we're going to say, let's say, one more time, let's say, bless and God bless you so much.
Okay, thank you, Brandley. Let's just close in a prayer, and I'll pray especially for the CLA student. Lord, we just thank you for this time we have had together. Thank you for just giving us this family of friends. We know that so many people around the world are lonely and they don't have the kind of support that you have given us to in this family. So help us to invest in this family, to invest in their friendships, to be there for the meetings, to stay together, so that when the storms of life hit us, we know that we have people around. I pray a special blessing on the CLA class. Just calm their hearts. I pray that you would give their minds perfect clarity as they read and prepare for these exams. Help them just to feel your presence. Help them feel like that they are capable of doing their best, even though there's been a lot of disruptions. Give them peace. Help them to focus on what they can change and just trust you that you will be there for the things that are beyond their control. So Lord, we just thank you for this fellowship. We thank you for this new week. We just pray a special blessing on everybody. May you surround them with your love and your protection. May you provide for all of their needs according to your riches and glory. And we just pray all this in your name. So God bless you guys. Love you, and just wish you a good time until we meet again. God bless.
Brandley, can you please unmute and people just say amen and can say to each other bye-bye.
Amen.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Sanya.
Yes, sir.
Mwalimu Ezekiel. ADJ.
Abraham, vipi baba?
Wema.
Kunywa soda.
Habari yako ndugu?
Mikusanyiko hairuhusiwi sana.
Unaendeleaje ndugu yangu?
Uko poa.
Vipi?
Shemeji anaendeleaje shemeji?
Uko poa.
Salimie sana baba.
Hi, Dora.
Hi, how are you?
Wewe Nise, hujaniona mimi au?
Nisia napenda hilo jina lako la mwisho.
Hi.
Ni nduma, ni nzuri.
Sema dati.
Nise unajua mimi najisikia wivu sana ninapoongea na
Alafu Brandy pia analipenda sana.
Analipenda?
Aliniambia. Yeah. Alinieleza. Mwambia sina hiana, tamwambia.
Dada.
Oh, Queen Kulei.
Kaka Brahmani.
Dada.
How are you?
Brahmani. Maisha mazuri yametoka mashavu.
Unakula nini?
Kulei element iko wapi? Hii hapa.
Bro, unakula nini?
Wewe mbaba bwana element. Umeona? Sijakuzoea kuona bila element bwana.
Usizidi hapo sasa.
Unaona hiyo kichwa sasa.
Kali hujavaa barakoa wewe.
Hajavaa barakoa
Bramley hajavaa barakoa afu uko karibu na kibuga hapo.
Wote hawa walikuwa hawajavaa. Sasa hapo Bradley vipi hujaorganize barakoa?
Mrs. Mondosia. Namuona mtu kama
kaka tuchati.
Dada Felista. Afkule hata umbea wewe.
Recho Banda na kusalimia.
Raeli huko?
Nipo.
Recho unapokuwa kimya hivyo.
Nini nataka
Bradley umewafunza wanafunzi wote.
Tunataka kuona ndio.
Onekani.
Bradley umefunza wanafunzi.
Embo jitokeze bwana.
Na Upendo Molel.
Yaani Upendo Molel na kusalimia.
Mimi nitakuwa wa mwisho jamani.
Chazi nuzie kofia.
Wewe vijana unataka nini?
Lakini amefanya kichwani hata kuvua kofia.
Niuzie kofia.
Recho.
Chazi vua hiyo kofia.
Kofia yangu nini ya nini jamani?
Vua hiyo kofia. Nini uko kichwani?
Bwana nikwambia vitu vingine uvuta au huwezi kuvua.
We. Sasa ujinga.
Vua hiyo phone unaanza nini? Vua hiyo phone.
Shindwa.
Banda. Hapo vipi?
Mzima.
Yaani mmemsubiri yangu kaondoka mmeanza kujimwaga huko. Mute kila kitu.
Mwambie anko aje bwana. Hii ndio sharing ambayo sisi tuko tunafanya.
Dati. Ngoja muda uishe chaji uanze mambo yako.
Kali acha. Kina kasi kwa hiyo ni kwa nasubiria muda ufike. Nisia.
Sasa sanitizer chazi hapo.
Hiyo ni barakoa au ni kofia?
Kule unakula nini?
Sitakuja na vitu vyote huko. Omba msaada. Kuna nini mimi kinanisi Juma? Niko ofisini. Uje naomba msaidie PC. Umesema nini unadai? Fresh. Sikudai ila fresh. Sijaigusa baba. Kwani nzuri kusema hapakuwa na maana. Sawa. Nani? Joshua naomba mnisaidia kuja na APC pia. Hapo staff. Nimrod.
Ni Barieti ni nani huyu jamani? Barieti? Mariette. Yeah, he's still connecting.
Mcheki wa